6 months ago, Sarah Fantl emigrated from Germany to Israel, despite the country's high cost of living and volatile political situation. She has Jewish roots, and because she never really felt at home in Germany, she decided to move to Israel, just like tens of thousands of other Jews from around the world do each year. So, Zahra quit her job in Berlin, packed her bags, and started over in Israel. Now she devotes her time to researching her family's past.
אתם צריכים לדעת, ראיה כותבת טוב. אם אני כותבת עין, גם אתם. עובד, מצוין. בראבו, בראבו. בואי, ולנטינה. נועה. והוא.
Zahra has been attending daily Hebrew classes each morning for 4 months now.
I can speak the language quite well without an accent. But you need to know the words to be able to read them. It's a bit of a challenge. I think it will take several months or years before I can speak the language like an Israeli.
People from 16 different countries attend the language classes, hailing from places like the US, Venezuela, and Ukraine. Most are Jews. The Israeli state covers their tuition, but learning Hebrew is a formidable challenge.
5 months are nowhere near enough. You need more time than that. You'll learn the basics to help you communicate and to help you understand some things. But you need better language skills to work in Israel.
Zahra knows that, of course. Back in Berlin, she had a permanent job as a journalist. Now she lives from her savings and does a bit of freelance reporting. She wants to be able to work as a German-language journalist. She found an apartment in central Jerusalem near her language school, but the rent is almost double the cost of a similar small apartment in Berlin. Zahra is still furnishing her place.
I think I was a bit too comfortable for my age in Germany. I had it all, really. A job, a partner, an apartment. But I wasn't happy.
Ich war aber gar nicht glücklich. Und hier ist irgendwas falsch.
This is a great adventure, and it's just for me. I don't have to think about anyone else. It's a liberating feeling.
Along with her new life in Israel, Zahra has started writing a book about her family history.
These are files from Yad Vashem. They help document my grandfather's Holocaust odyssey. Looking at them is depressing. They state over and over that he was a Jew, that the reason for his arrest is that he was a Jew. It's really depressing to read this, but it makes me appreciate being in Israel even more. It means a lot to be among the majority now. I'm just one among many Jews here.
These files were the first things Zahra turned up in her research into her family history. Much more research lies ahead. Her grandparents were originally from Prague. Zahra's great-aunt once told her what her ancestors endured during the Holocaust. She's made inquiries, and today she's visiting the archives of Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial to see what the archivist has turned up. She's waited a long time for this moment. At the archive, Zahra meets Esther Stern, who's found some documents relating to Zahra's family. Stan discovered files with many details about Zahra's family history, including the family's deportation to Auschwitz concentration camp.
Thank you. Okay.
She points out details of the transport, including the names of Rudolf, Sidonia, Thomas, and Helga. The file documents the last time they were all together. Zahra's grandfather Thomas survived Auschwitz. He was an important influence on her as a child. Zahra spots one of his inmate IDs.
Because he had nothing.
Oh.
He had nothing because he came from Auschwitz. In Auschwitz, they took from him everything, and he came, like you see, he had nothing. But his signature is here.
For the very first time in Zahra's life, she sees a picture of her great-grandfather Rudolf. He was murdered in Auschwitz.
I never saw him before. He's so good looking.
Yeah?
Yes, so
He is?
wow.
Yeah.
And it's the very first time she gets to watch Yad Vashem video testimonies. One features her great-aunt, Helga.
She was the last survivor of my family.
Really? You were in connection with her?
Like a strong connection, yes.
Really? She is.
Before passing away, Helga told Zahra about the horrific things she experienced in the Holocaust, things she had never told anyone before. Zahra is the only family member left to keep the memory alive. It's a huge responsibility.
It's hard to describe what I'm feeling now that I know all this. I'm deeply moved because I've finally seen a photo of my great-grandfather and seen his handwriting. That gives me a better sense of his personality. I feel like I know him better now. But I'm also somewhat overwhelmed. It's a lot to take in.
After visiting the archives, Zahra explores Yad Vashem's Holocaust History Museum. Knowing what her family members suffered has left a lasting impression on her. Soon she'll return to Yad Vashem's archives to find out more about her family's past. But for now, she's also busy living her new life in Jerusalem. It's Friday. Zahra is at Jerusalem's Mahane Yehuda market. It's almost Shabbat, and she's buying groceries for the evening dinner.
Things are quite expensive in Israel. It's definitely not cheap. You've got to be careful what you spend your money on. But you can also get some things that are fresher and a bit cheaper than elsewhere.
On Friday afternoons, she typically hangs out with her friends. Today, she's meeting her buddy, Yair Glaser, at one of the market's cafes.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
You good?
How are you?
Good, great, thank you.
You want to drink something?
Yeah, let's drink. Hot. I've never been there.
You've never been to Berlin?
You know what? Back there, like in Berlin, you had like incidents where you felt like anti-Semitism against you, like at the street somewhere.
Actually, there's a lot. Every time you take a cab, and like the topic comes in any way, like I want to go to the synagogue, for example. People are like, oh, synagogue, are you Jewish? And then they come from the being Jewish to Israel and like start talking about that the Jews run the world, that like Israelis are suppressing everybody. Have you ever had it anywhere when you went abroad?
I don't go with the kippah on my head, so, but I never felt like someone treating me different. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for me. You know, the situation here is not that easy. People tend to sometimes just, like run away, so then you come here.
Yeah. I think I really want to support Israel. I think it needs support. I'm not afraid, though of course I know we have problems in this country. It's so important that we have this Jewish state. I want one Jewish state for us and the others can live their life.
Zahra wants to take the initiative and do something for her new homeland, for example, by going into politics. But for now, she's focused on her new book. In 2014, she visited the Auschwitz concentration camp memorial and discovered her great-grandmother's suitcase.
I'd never seen it before, and we didn't have any photos of it. I've asked myself how come it caught my eye in that huge room full of suitcases. I found it pretty quickly once we arrived. That was a really special moment.
Discovering the suitcase convinced her to go through with her long-time plan to move to Israel. As the sun sets on Friday, Israel's weekend, the Shabbat, begins.
So far, it's been a bit tricky integrating into Israeli society and finding a congregation. But it's nice to see everything closed down for Shabbat. It gets so quiet. It's great for winding down and celebrating this day.
Zahra hasn't yet found a congregation to celebrate Shabbat with at the synagogue, so she spends the evening with a British friend from her Hebrew class and her Israeli partner.
Okay, shall we light the candle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lighting the candles is an important Shabbat custom.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נחשי שבת. אמן.
Zahra likes observing Jewish traditions and wants her future children to do so too. It's a way of honoring her ancestors. She feels a strong connection to Israel.
I actually feel very home at Israel. I felt home here before. This is why I came here. I already have like a daily routine, a daily business. I found new friends. We have Shabbat together. We do other stuff. So I'm really happy with my decision.
A perfect start to building a new life in Israel.
Wow.
So like they could say anything they want to because you couldn't hear it anyway. So I keep forgetting like they don't, that they can hear it. So they would say like, I think potatoes should be out of the law and stuff.